Hello friends, my name is Mr. Salinetro. As many of you who are watching probably already know, I am here today because I am a huge bird watcher. I love looking at birds and listening to birds and taking pictures of birds. So because of that, I've been asked to do a couple videos to teach you a little bit about what I know about birds. And I'm going to do so, you can see behind me, using my collection of things I've found while out on bird walks or hiking through the woods. Today, specifically, we're going to learn about bird feathers and what bird feathers do and how they're important to birds. And we're going to do that looking at these many different types of feathers. So I hope you enjoy it, and I hope you learn a little something. So the first feathers we're going to look at are the feathers that the birds use for flying. The ones that are attached to their wings, those would be the two you see there. And also the ones that they have in their tail, like these two here. These are also two flight feathers. But these four feathers right here, these are from a turkey. These were lost from a turkey. And before I go any further, I guess, let me explain that all of the feathers and things that I collect, I did not take off of any living animals. Everything I have here, I found just like it is. And I brought it home. So I didn't hurt any animals collecting any of this. So, this is a turkey's wing feather. If you look at it, what it's supposed to look like is this. All of those little pieces connected together so that it is windproof, so that no wind gets through it, and partially waterproof too, so that if water gets on a bird, it can just slide right off. Now, because these feathers are a little old and they've been in my collection for a while, some of them have come apart, like that. But this is very important for a bird to have everything connected like that, because when it's connected and it flaps like this, it's really good at pushing air out of the way and lifting the bird up in the air. Let me show you a picture of a turkey that I took a couple years ago, and you can see right there, this feather here would be one of those feathers down there, and that's the turkey's wings that are folded down beside. Now, the other feather that we're going to look at, which is also a part of a turkey, is the tail feather. Now, it's interesting to look at the wing feather and the tail feather together. Now, what you'll see is on the tail feather, it's very symmetrical, meaning on either side of this middle part, it's about the same width on either side. It looks pretty much the same on both sides. It's pretty even. On a wing feather, it's not quite so even, is it? The one side has a lot more feather material than the other side. And feathers are made like that. All flight feathers on the wings will look pretty much like that, with one side being a little bit bigger than the other side. And most tail feathers will look more symmetrical, with each side being almost even. The ones that are most even are in the middle of the tail, and the ones that are a little bit off are towards the outside of the tail. Now, let's take a look back at that picture of the turkey, and you can see all those feathers together there that make up its tail. And you can see how that kind of resembles that, doesn't it? With the stripes, the light tip. So that's a turkey tail feather. So those are two types of flight feathers that we'll see. Both of those are from the same bird, from a turkey. This is another flight feather, another wing feather. Now this is from a goose. Look at how asymmetrical it is. This side has a lot of wing material on it, while the other side is very slim, has hardly anything on that side. This side over here, that would be towards the front, where the wind would hit if it was flying. So let's take a look at a picture of a goose. Now this happens to be a very bad picture of a goose, and I don't know why I kept it, but lucky for me, This picture shows really well the wing feathers of a goose. And we can see how it kind of resembles that. So this is one of the flight feathers that a goose would use for flying. Now the next feathers you may recognize. This one is from a special type of woodpecker called a pileated woodpecker. A pileated woodpecker is one of the biggest woodpeckers that we have, that we can see in Pittsburgh. See, it has half black and half white. Let's take a look at a picture and we'll point out, oh yeah, right there. See how in that wing, part of it's black and part of it's white. So that's where that feather would live on the pileated woodpecker. Let's move down the line. Look at these feathers. These ones have some white spots going all the way up and down them. Now this is a feather. Oh, let me see if I can find it. Sorry about that. This is the wing feather from another woodpecker, but a smaller woodpecker called a downy woodpecker. Let's take a look at a picture of a downy woodpecker. There it is. This one is a little bit lighter because it has faded a bit, but you can see how that would match up, and that would go on the wing of a downy woodpecker.